Hey guys, it's Comics G-Man, and we're going to be talking about some Supergirl news. It's not going to be a reaction video with a film threat like my last couple of ones, but there are a few things I want to look through here. All right, so this is the latest news though. It's not it's only a day, 2 days ago, 1 day ago. Let's see, 8 hours ago. So let's see what's the most recent one. Let me see. Does it let me go anytime past day? Let's see. 8 hours ago, Supergirl is a decent standalone movie, so why is everyone acting like it's awful? Let's see what this guy has to say at Entertainment Weekly. Oh, it's a girl, Tiffany Kelly. Okay, let's see what Tiffany Kelly has to say about this. Despite what the reviews and backlash may lead you to believe, the second film in the DC universe is an enjoyable adventure. Really? Now look, right off the bat, I saw this movie 3 times now. I saw it yesterday at Dolby Cinema. And excuse me for the English accent. I apologize, my English brethren from England. I'm not making fun of you. But yeah, look, I saw this movie 3 times because I'm a fucking masochist for Supergirl, alright? Now look, the third viewing was not the worst viewing as the first one. My first viewing was absolutely, I hated it, right? My second one, still didn't like it. My third one, it was just bearable. And frankly, I think it's just because now that I know the entire layout of the film, and I know when everything is going to happen, it's like easier to kind of absorb. But it's still not a good film on its face. All of the plot holes that I name are on my ultimate analysis that you could look up. Those criticisms, which are valid, and it's beyond the political, it's just purely criticisms of the movie itself, I still retain my thoughts on that. So let's keep reading. What's her name? Tiffany Kelly. Okay, Tiffany Kelly. Here we go again. A woman-led superhero movie is out in theaters, and people can't stop gleefully bashing it, as well as prematurely analyzing its performance based solely on its opening weekend earnings. And okay, I'll admit it, before I watched Supergirl in a movie theater this past weekend, my expectations were medium to low. Part of the reason was the reviews. The second film in the reboot of the DC Universe under James Gunn and Peter Safran received a rotten score of 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is much more positive. Another reason is superhero blockbuster fatigue. No, it's just bad movie fatigue, Tiffany. And frankly, I'm going to have to correct you on one other thing. Here we go again, right? Excuse me, Tiffany, were you around when Wonder Woman came out? That was a very well-received movie with a female superhero. And it's one of my favorite movies. I even like the second movie, but that was justifiably criticized, okay? But I still like Wonder Woman #2 for my own reasons. But was that bashed because it's a woman movie, because it's a female superhero movie? No, #2 was bashed because it wasn't as good as 1, and it had a lot of major plot holes, and that's about it. It was really movie reasons. Because everyone liked Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I certainly loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. And we could go on, right? How about Supergirl CW had her own TV show? I liked it. I don't know how that... I honestly haven't read about how that was received by fan bases. I didn't look into it. But I liked that a lot. So, what are you talking about? When are you going to just admit that it's just a bad movie? It has nothing to do with her being a female superhero. Alright, let's keep going. Another reason is, I've seen nearly every live-action superhero movie in theaters during its opening weekend for the last 20 years. I'm a fan of the genre, but studios are pushing them out quicker and quicker. Audiences barely get to breathe between sequels and spin-offs. Well, I mean, I can't bash her on there for saying... I mean, she said she's been doing it for 20 years, so... But I'll be honest with you, I don't feel the same way, actually. I feel like she's saying how quick they're pushing them out. I mean, maybe Marvel, I guess, but to be honest with you, I feel like DC is taking too long to bring out the stuff that we need. I mean, we still only have Superman 2025, right? Since they started the whole new DC stuff. and Peacemaker season 2. I mean, we don't even have a Batman movie yet, right? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're not making them fast enough, actually, for me. If DC was making a lot of movies, right? Like, say right now you have Supergirl, and then next month we had Clayface already, and the last month maybe we would already have like a Wonder Woman movie or a Batman movie, like maybe every fucking month or every 2 months. And I know you're saying, damn, dude, you're asking for too much. Yeah, I am. But frankly, though, with this kind of movie that they're making, this 2-hour movie that is kind of mushy and it's lacking a lot of identity, movies like this could be pumped out very fast, I believe. So the fact that we're waiting for Batman still, and they're just starting to make rumors about it, apparently, probably to make people forget about this movie. But let me go on with our article. Continue reading. Yet I loved Gunn's Superman, same here, which opened last summer to positive reviews all around and earned $618 million at the global box office. Gunn did not direct Supergirl, but I trusted his vision after last year's hit. Okay, I won't dig her at that because I felt the same way. I honestly thought, well, it can't be horrible because at least James Gunn might add some nice color, fighting. It'll be goofy. It'll be very wacky like a comic. So I think I'll enjoy it, but it wasn't like that at all. Let's go on. As it turns out, Supergirl isn't bad at all. Really. Directed by Craig Gillespie, Tanya, and I'm still surprised. Like that's a great movie, so I'm surprised that Gillespie didn't put more oomph into the formula here. And written by Ana Nogueira, who only did one short film. The film is a fun detour that gives us a backstory to Superman's cousin. Blah 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 blah. We all know that. Blah 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 blah. We don't need to hear all that. Although the plot is darker than Superman's, the film still feels like it's in the same universe as last year's hit. Tiffany, I understand what you're trying to say, but it really doesn't feel like that. And with all due respect, as I said in my last video, this movie feels more like a Snyderverse movie. And as crazy as that sounds, it feels dark, it feels grungy, it feels mean, it feels kind of like it's subverting Kara. So this feels more like in line with Snyderverse's vision. So I don't know what movie you watched this week. The visuals, dialogue, and the world building are all in line with the new DCU. I was entertained for the duration of the film, which, in case we forgot, is the goal of every movie-going experience with an exclamation point. I can't say the same for every other superhero film released in the last few years, yet many of those films weren't judged as harshly. Well, okay, so why are people acting like Supergirl is the worst movie ever made? One critic even said it had the worst script I can remember. Because it does. It is the worst script ever. There's a simple answer. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. What does she say? Misogyny. Wow. Damn, I never would have fucking guessed that one. I thought maybe she would have said, depopulation, global warming. Let me think. What other problems could she have said? Oh, child trafficking. Wow, misogyny. I never would have guessed. Wow, Tiffany, you are full of wisdom that I just never would expect. While it doesn't apply to every negative review and reaction to the movie, the growing hatred and resentment of women across the world have definitely impacted women-led superhero films. Bullshit. Most of the fucking female comics are bought by straight men. They're bought by guys. I don't know what it is now, but most of the time it's been men buying this shit. Right? A lot of the guys like this kind of stuff. I mean, there are girls out there, but to be frank with you, all the years that I've went to like a comic stores, talked to people, me personally, I haven't met anyone, at least in my area where I'm from, I haven't met any girls that have been into this stuff. The only girl that I've ever met was when I went on some date from dating online, and she was a big fan of The Flash, but that was the farthest she went. She didn't like anything else. She just liked the Flash CW show, so she didn't read comics. But I don't care about that. If I still thought that was pretty cool, and we had that in common and all that. But I don't want to get too deep into that. So, like, I'm not digging at you if you don't read the comics as a girl, and if you are a girl and you do read the comics, more bona fides. Hey, good for you. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, like, since comics have started, it's been mostly a male thing. It's just how it is. Like, we come up with all these, like, power fantasies, fighting scenes. We love destruction, chaos, violence. It's just our thing, baby. I used to watch this guy, Lionel Nation, and you know what he used to say? He used to say he knew a woman, and she was raising her son, trying to keep him away from violent movies and male things and all of that. And yet somehow one day she saw him doing this with his fingers and play acting like he was shooting with guns. She had no idea where he got it from, because she was like one of these helicopter hover parents that made sure he didn't see anything like that. And yet there he was doing that. Now, I could attest to that. As a child, I was obsessed with gunplay, running around like I was a soldier in World War II. All right, guys, I don't know. I don't know what the new kids do today. I don't see them out anywhere when I'm going to work, driving and stuff. They're on their e-bikes or something. But when I was a kid, me and my friends used to run around and act like we were in Call of Duty, shooting, blowing shit up, right? And other kids I'd see do that when I was that age. We loved that shit. We loved Call of Duty. We loved war, even though that's a whole philosophical debate on why war is evil. But as a child, you just love action, destruction, explosions. It's in our nature. I hate to say it. But frankly, though, let me just get back to this. I'm getting off plot here. She goes on. Where was I? All right, so she talked about the misogyny. While it doesn't apply to every negative review and reaction to the movie, the growing hatred and resentment of women across the world have definitely impacted. Well, I read that already. In the weeks leading up to the June 26th release of the film, men mocked 26-year-old Alcock's appearance across social media. The narrative was clear. Alcock, who spends most of Supergirl's wearing loose t-shirts and minimal makeup. Actually, in my review, I didn't even mention the makeup thing. I didn't even realize that she wasn't wearing makeup. I didn't even look at that. I didn't even realize that. Well, I did say that I could barely see her face throughout most of the movie, so maybe that's why I didn't notice she wasn't wearing makeup. But the one thing I did criticize, she looks raunchy, she looked gross, but I didn't like how she wore the Blondie shirt 90% of the fucking movie. The narrative was clear. Blah, blah, blah. The minimal makeup and the t-shirts wasn't styled to fit the male gaze. The male gaze. I can't believe. Tiffany, what year are you from? Can I ask you that? Are you from the year 2015? Are you still stuck in the year 2015? Because as I'm reading this, Tiffany, I can't help but feel like I'm like 10 years in the past or something. Right? Like, look, I'm no digs. I get it. We all got nostalgia for the past. My videos look kind of old looking. I buy cheap shit. My voice audio is cheap. My camera is cheap. Fine. But my views on some things have evolved, and I don't have the exact same views that I had 10 years ago. So I just have to ask you, why are you using a term? Why are you using a term that is not only silly, but it's completely cringe and outdated? I mean, it's like criticizing a dog for wanting to pee. It's like criticizing an animal for just wanting to do its thing. Like a man looking at a woman and being attracted by her feminine attributes is only natural and instinctual. So, you are like, Tiffany, you're the one who probably likes to cut up your pets' organs and make sure that they'll be perfectly fine and they won't make puppies or anything, or they won't mate with their own species. You're one of those people who needs everything to be clean and perfect. So, I'm just saying though, this is insane that people are still using this term. I really think it's insane. You need to get out of 2015, lady. It's not 2015 anymore. Shit's changing. I don't know if it's changing for the better or the worse, but it's changing. Alright, so she goes on. It's quite the opposite, with a human trafficking plot tied to the villain, which could have been cool, right? Could have been a cool pointing towards the Epstein files, right? What's going on now? That would have been a great point, like with Superman 2025, which I thought boldly criticized what was going on with the genocide in Israel, right? We could have did something like that about the Epstein files with this human trafficking plot. But the movie barely touched it. So that was another missed opportunity in Supergirl. And again, Matthias Schoenaerts is a good actor, and the way he played Krem, I liked him. I mean, he was doing a good job with what he was given, but what he was given was crap. Oh, and look at this. The story calls out those who sexualize young girls and women. Alright, so wait. Tiffany, just to clear, are you talking about the human trafficking? Or are we going back to your male gazing? Because I know a woman like you associates human trafficking and sexualizing young girls with just a man looking at a woman and just saying, hey, she's not bad. You know what I mean? You're one of those. Additionally, Kara doesn't have a love interest. Yeah, we all know that, which makes it even worse, actually. And frankly, I think a lot of women would prefer a love interest. And the film isn't interested in giving her one. Supergirl is a story about a depressed, superpowered woman who is pulled out of her bar hopping to help other people and find her purpose. Now, is that a perfectly summarized rendition of Supergirl? And let me tell you something. It sounds horrible. Like, if you pitched that idea to me, I'd be like, you kidding me, right? Like, I understand the contradiction, the irony you're trying to do here. Depressed and yet superpowered. So how could you be depressed as a superpowered person? But it makes a horrible fucking movie. To be clear, the story isn't for everyone, and despite everything I wrote above, I don't think you're a bad person if you don't like it. Oh, Tiffany, that's so mature of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, you know? I was kind of worried there. I was kind of worried that you might think I'm a bad person for saying that Supergirl is trash in my first video. So thank you, Tiffany, for being mature in this situation. But we need to talk about how the public responds to woman-led stories in a genre that has historically been consumed by male-majority audiences. Supergirl was set up to fail with the backlash that started as soon as the first trailer hit the internet. Now, after an opening weekend that earned the film $38 million domestically against a budget of over $170 million, everyone is quick to call it a failure. I mean, when the film hasn't even been in theaters for a week, DC Studios doesn't appear to be confidently promoting its film either. Alright, well, look. Everybody on the left, you guys completely ignore Nerdrotic as Heels vs. Babyface. Asmongold covered Critical Drinkers video. And Film Threat does a pretty good job about it, although they don't go over the box office numbers as much. But as somebody who isn't like a huge fan of those guys, I used to be, and then I wasn't because of what they did with Rippaverse. And now I'm just listening to them because, frankly, I think they're doing a very good job covering the financial failure that's happening with Supergirl right now. You see, as a Supergirl fan, I was not frothing at the mouth for this movie to fail. I was genuinely excited about it. But at the same time, I'm not one of these fans that need to be deluded that this is wonderful and it's great, because I love Superman 2025, for example, but I am also able to say, like, I understand that it was not a financial success when you account for inflation, marketing, and you compare it to, well, Man of Steel is, again, with the inflation, big time. But I still love Superman 2025, so I could have a few different things about how I feel about something without, saying it's completely trash. But I want the truth about this. So, and when they're showing you that this is doing worse than the Morbius openings with Jared Leto from all the way back in 2022. I mean, it's not concrete, but to me, I mean, there's an obvious trend. I mean, look, I went to the movie 3 times, as I keep telling you. Each time I went to the movies at different times and in different versions, from IMAX, 3D, and then Dolby Cinema, the theater was completely empty. Not completely. It was me and maybe like 3 other people on the top, one guy at the corner, and maybe another person at the corner. But that was it. Now, at the fan screening, it was even not as busy either. Like I said, there was some people there, a few people here, but it wasn't like filled to the brim, okay? So I could see for myself that it's not attracting a lot of asses to the seats. So this has nothing to do with her being a woman. Okay, because we all know that Wonder Woman did well. Everyone likes Wonder Woman. At least I think I like Wonder Woman a lot. And the comics show that a lot of comic fans, males, like their comic book female heroines a lot, right? Me, an obvious example. So I just like the truth. I don't want to be deluded like some of these weird leftist fanboys, or whoever these guys are that get so angry when you just say, like, it's not doing good and the movie's not good. Like, why does it bother you so much? Are you being paid by DC or Warner Bros? And if you're not, then why does it offend you so much? You know what I mean? Like, if you like the movie genuinely, like, I'm saying, like, that's fine. Like, I'm glad if you liked Supergirl 2026, good for you, dude. I wish I felt the same way because I love Supergirl. And I think Millie Alcock looks good as Supergirl when she puts a suit on. And I think she might look better at Man of Tomorrow if they don't do any more of this raunchy bullshit anymore. But it didn't do anything for me. But my point is, so that you guys like it so much, like, it doesn't bother me. And I'm not going to say all these things about I want to beat you up. I'm seeing these guys talk about Az and Nerdrotic, and they're saying like they want to slap them around and stuff over this. It's like, dude, like, I'd like to see how you talk about politics. If you can't handle a couple of nerds talking shit about a movie, you probably can't fucking handle talking or debating about politics. You're a fucking little baby. That's all I'm trying to say here. So let me go on. Peter Safran, co-chairman and co-chief executive of DC Studios with Guns, told the New York Times on Monday, while Supergirl didn't meet our box office expectations, it's just one component of a broader, long-term strategy at DC Studios that we remain confident in. The statement doesn't exactly inspire audiences to jump to see it during the upcoming holiday weekend. Supergirl is not the awful film the public is being led to believe it is. It's a decent standalone movie. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense, Tiffany. The public is giving this a better score than the critics, right? So I don't think I don't know why the critics are so hard on this movie. I can't figure that out yet, because they're all for like the stuff that people don't like. So I don't understand why the critics all of a sudden are bashing on Supergirl. I really don't understand what the hell is going on there. Maybe there's some like behind the scenes stuff. A lot of people hate James Gunn. They want him out or something. Or I don't understand why that's happening. I mean, I'm glad it's kind of happening though. So there's a humor and emotional core and engaging performances. No, there is no humor. I don't laugh at all in this movie. There's, a teensy bit of an emotional core, but it's not solid. And engaging performances. Who's engaging in this? It deserves more attention. It's getting plenty of attention. It's getting a lot of negative attention. And I think a lot of that negative attention is deserved. Because it's just not a good movie. It's just not a good movie. Let's be honest here. And I don't think it has anything to do with what she's saying. And it's people like Tiffany. It's people like Tiffany that are not allowing things to fix. It's people like Tiffany that are okay with the status quo, and they don't want anything to change. So, if you want something to change, frankly, this movie needs to fail. Otherwise, we're going to get a Wonder Woman movie by the same shitty writer. We're going to get a fucking Teen Titans movie by the same shitty writer. So, if you are okay with this, we're just going to, it's going to keep going. It's going to pile on the dog shit. It's gonna pile on the dog shit. I mean, comics are like kind of struggling itself. I don't see how these movies are going to even help the comic industry grow even more, because not only is it not I mean, maybe for Marvel might do good with Spider-Man Brand New Day. You know, I mean, I'd like to know how much of the audience that goes to see these movies actually read and collect comics. And I don't just mean like collect comics just for the variants. I mean like who out of all these audiences actually read the comics and love the comics that way, and it's not just for collections, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think they do any polls on that. I don't feel like looking it up right now. Just real quick before I exit, there's only 2 comments on here. Let's see what they say. Greg Guzicki. A few conservatives took offense at the star's interview comments and lack of the integrity to judge the movie without their involving their political bias. No, what the conservatives were saying was, no, I mean, I guess it's true. I can't completely disagree with Greg here. And yes, the conservatives to an extent are a little bit they are, what's the word? A lot of the conservatives are kind of, you could turn them off to something really quick over something very small. Not as bad as the left. The left is very, very fascist. And what I mean by that is the left is like, if you don't have the same beliefs that I do, you need to die. You know what I'm saying? The conservatives are like, I don't like it. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. I'm out of here. I don't care what you say. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. The liberals are like, I want you dead, and I want to genocide your entire people because you don't have the same ideas that I do. You see what I'm going with that? But my point is, like, what as a Nerdrotic we're trying to say about that particular part, she definitely turned off a lot of like high-minded conservatives from that, like people who are like super aware of the woke political stuff, that, and it bothers them a lot. But like for someone like me, it didn't turn me off to the movie at all. In fact, when I saw Millie Alcock's interviews, I'm like, hey, she looks kind of fun actually, and frankly, she didn't even look like she knew. She didn't even look like she actually cared about what she was saying. Like, she looked fucking drunk all the time. And just some gay dumbass interviewer who makes too much money than he should be just because he's gay asked her about, is Supergirl gay? And she's like, well, like, I guess she goes both ways. I don't know. Like, she kind of looks, I don't know, dude. It didn't bother me as much. In fact, it kind of made me laugh. And I'm like, she doesn't really give a fuck about this stuff. Millie doesn't really give a fuck about it. She's just there. She's just happy to be making the money. She's just happy to be, I don't know, just doing her thing, you know? And then she's just drunk, having a good time on the carpet, getting the attention. So, like, to me, Millie looks like a fun girl, and she looks kind of nice in her own way. So it actually made me say, hey, I think she's going to be good as Supergirl. She might be kind of funny, but she wasn't funny. And it makes me go more to say that it's not Millie's fault, it's the script's fault. Clearly, I mean, Millie looks very lighthearted in the interviews. She's funny. She smiles a lot. And she's goofy. She's very goofy. Like, I can see, this is a girl that I would be laughing with a lot with a few drinks. And we'd be laughing our asses off. She'd be making fun of my goofiness. I'd be making fun of her. Like, she looks like a totally chill chick to me. So, no criticisms on Millie Alcock, as harsh as I was on her in my first video because I was so emotionally angry about how bad Supergirl was. But yeah. And what's the last thing this guy says? The comic book geeks have a history of bashing female-led superhero projects. No, they don't. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, are you saying all of us? Because I'm not one of those guys. And secondly, a lot of the criticisms are valid criticisms, okay, man? I'm just so sick of these people. It's like, is this guy Greg, right? Like, what are you, like, oh, I have to defend these women. Maybe I'll get laid. Maybe I'll get blown. Maybe they'll tickle me. I don't know. I got to get any attention, and I got to stick up. I got to be a shining knight in armor for these women. Greg, my man. Greg, you don't need to do that, man. Have a little self-respect, my friend. You don't need to stick up for them. They could do fine on their own. In fact, they hate you. They hate you, Greg. They don't like you, Greg. You don't need to stick up for these people. They don't like you. Okay? Millie probably just doesn't... she's probably not as mean as what I'm saying. I think Millie is just goofy, drunk, and just fucking having a good old time. But most of these women in high positions of power, they hate you, Greg. They hate men. They want to see you dead. So you don't need to defend that because you're not helping yourself. Whew. All right, guys. Hey, this was a juicy ass fucking article. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think on this latest news.